Hello. Hello, everyone. Hi. Welcome, welcome. My name is Lady, and today is the 26th of February, 2026. I am back to share a few things here and there with you, especially about what's happening in Uganda, what's happening with our president, His Excellency Ntamamu, president-elect, what's going on with coffee in Uganda, continuous search for His Excellency Ntamamu, Museveni struggling with legitimacy. You know, he still hopes that the world will recognize him as the elected president of Uganda. But obviously, with the European Union meeting where His Excellency Ntamamu and Dr. Sarah Birete testified about what happened on and before the elections, several neighbors of Uganda, presidents, are skeptical about even attending his swearing-in ceremony. He has requested, sent letters out to presidents in the neighborhood, but many of them are either turning down the RSVP, saying they have something else to do, and others just haven't responded. So it is worrying him quite a bit that he's not getting the relevance that he used to get from his friends in the neighborhood that will normally hurry up to congratulate him. Obviously, the African Union congratulated him, but as you know, the African Union was created with intentions, created by Museveni as part of it, with the intentions of promoting the Bwinno dynasty. The East African community or East African Union or whatever that thing, the parliament and the government that Museveni struggled to put together, is also to promote Rwandi's existence. So it is not as if they are working for the Africans in those regions. They truly are working in the interest of Museveni. So it's not surprising that they will come out and congratulate him first before other people have even considered doing so as presidents of other nations. So he's struggling with legitimacy, very much so, especially because he has not captured His Excellency Ntamamu. His goal is to capture Bobi Wine so that they can muhoozi swears that he wants to just kill him and deal with the consequences later. Muhoozi and Salim Saleh are just in it to do away with His Excellency Ntamamu. The fact that they don't have him in custody baffles them, and that's what Museveni struggles with the most. Even when he makes plans, he doesn't know where Ntamamu is, and so he worries about that. So amongst other things, there is that. There was a meeting that was held with the Security Council a few days ago where you saw muhoozi shared, or I think even the newspaper shared a photo of the Security Council meeting. Several people sitting down. I'm going to try to pull it up if I can. But several military personnel sitting with Museveni and Muhoozi at State House. That was sort of parading there. That was right after actually the Chagulanyi and Sarah Birete testimony. Basically, Muhoozi trying to say that show their power, military power, to the EU or the European Union, because these people think that everything has to be done with the power of a gun. Just like he came to power, just like he treats Ugandans by, killing them, arresting them, harassing them, mistreating them, dehumanizing them. They feel like everyone has to be handled that way so that people know that they're strong or powerful. But that's not how it works in the Western world, obviously, because they think they can do things that way. They feel like showing to the EU that they're strong or they're powerful will help them, help the EU tone down on their actions towards them. But that doesn't mean anything. When I find the picture, I'll show it to you. So that in that meeting, I understand there's been 3 or 4 high-ranking officers who also got poisoned. So in as much as, you know, they're parading their power or military power, they're also eliminating other people, especially indigenous Ugandans who are in the military forces. The more they pull them here and there to come and present a powerful front by their thoughts, the more they're killing these people. In their invitations, in their appearances, in their groups, UPDF and the Ugandan Armed Forces, police, all of these executives, if only they would understand that these people do not care about them and they'd hope that they all get eliminated. This 5 years that Museveni hopes that he gets, their goal is to completely make Uganda become a Rwandese occupation, basically a Rwandese country. So for any Ugandan who thinks that they're in the military and they're serving a country, serving the interests of Ugandans, protecting Ugandans, it is not true, because as you can see, you are dying every day like you're unworthy. So take heed if you can, you know, cross over or do whatever you need to do, but get away from this muhoozi meeting this, or Museveni meeting this, or military meeting this, because those are the types of groupings where they're planning or they're actually giving you guys poison. Like I said, Teresita, over 29 military people were poisoned. It'll take time, but over time, they will keep dying. You know, they will either fizzle out, you know, become weak. They'll get laid off from the military because they can no longer function. You know, people like the Okidings who are being put in positions where they move some people around and try to fit them in there. It's not in good faith. It's just so they put them in the right target for when the time comes. So in that Security Council meeting where you saw a picture that was posted, the 4 generals from that are probably not going to make it in the next few months. Museveni and Kagame have affirmed and celebrated the assassination of M23 spokesman William Ngoma. As you know, M23 is Museveni's military. Museveni and Kagame both own M23. They act as a rebel organization because they want to try to get money from the Western world. So they send M23 to go on a mission to attack, let's say, Ugandan army, and act as if they're being attacked. But yet again, they're both arrangements of the same people, Museveni and Kagame. This Congo thing where the M23 have been very active lately, and President Trump had to come in to try to get some kind of peace deal. That peace deal did not work on Kagame's part, on his promises, because M23 is theirs. All of the acts and atrocities of M23 are through the orders of Museveni and Kagame. So in whatever happened to cause William Ngoma to get shot at or killed is that there were American or foreign missions that were sent to go and capture him to try to figure out to get to the bottom of this M23 thing and the rebel group in Congo, because they're trying to really get Congo into a peaceful state. So when Museveni and Kagame learned of a possible abduction of William Ngoma and being questioned by the Western world, they decided to do away with him. And there will still be more M23 people that will be executed or will be killed by the Museveni and Kagame group, because they're trying to eliminate evidence. They're trying to do away with evidence. So M23, I don't even know how to advise you on this. I understand one of M23's executives is Bujingo's brother. Bujingo is also Rwandese, as you might know. Bujingo literally had somebody die in his church, one of the security guards who was guarding him, and that didn't go anywhere. That goes to show you how protected these people are. So Bujingo's brother is one of the executives in M23. That goes to show you that these people are woven together. Museveni and Kagame and everything that goes on in the eastern region of Africa and part of, you know, Central Africa. It's all these people because they're trying to spread their dynasty or territories or empires to become the leaders of that whole region and have the rest of the people in those regions work for them. I understand there's parts of Congo where they have cleared indigenous people completely, like just killed people in villages and areas just so that they take occupancy, and they don't care if these people live or not. So they celebrated the death of William Ngoma because they feel like the Western world, that they survived a testimony to the Western world. He had been targeted in Congo for a testimony, so I mentioned that already. So they set up ambush. It was not a drone that took him out. It was their ambush that did. So maybe the drone was sent also, but the ambush of Museveni and Kagame took out William Ngoma. Museveni's health is highly deteriorating, you know, as it should. He's an older man, obviously sticking to power, but this is something that's against him. As you know, Museveni thought by now he would have no opposition, would have no challenges, because he felt like he had sort of dug his feet down, you know, with the son trying to take over and all of that. His health is severely deteriorating. He has been advised by doctors to try to lay off thoughts and, you know, reduce stress, reduce travel. That's why things like swearing in of a whole chief justice happens in his yard, because he's not capable to just do this today, do the other tomorrow, have so many programs of moving, you know, ambulation here and there. It's impossible for him to accommodate because he's deteriorating as a human being. I understand he spends the night on oxygen, on life support equipment, because he has to be highly boosted to do anything, any activity that warrants energy. The next day he has to be boosted a lot of sleep, lots of vitamins, lots of energy, whatever, shots here and there, just to get him standing and walking or whatever. As you all know, he has a severe case of prostate cancer. You know, that's why he sits like that. No matter if he's in an interview, you've wondered if he's just disrespectful. But it is a condition which comes with a lot of, in aging men, you know, it's one of the tests that is required, that you get tested for prostate cancer and things like that. He's probably gotten worse, and it's overgrown and all of that. So he's not in good health and not in good shape. But he doesn't trust anyone anymore, especially with Bobi Wine being on the loose. Museveni feels like Bobi Wine could be under his bed, you know, because he can't catch him. He doesn't have him. He's constantly worrying. It's one of the things that will possibly take him, besides other conditions, because, you know, when you have a lot of stress, it weighs down on anything else that you may be suffering from. Many of you have seen that he's walking around with a catheter on his thighs, like a catheter bag, which usually happens when people have prostate cancer. They may not be able to urinate the right way, so they have to have a catheter for them to urinate through. It's one of the conditions that he has. He's also having a lot of, he fears quite a bit for the ICC, the uncertainty of the ICC clamping down on him, and also the EU sanctions coming down the pipeline. He doesn't know what's going to hit him from where. Rightfully so, because he has done so much. There's a lot of evidence, overwhelming evidence, of what Museveni has done to the people in that region, not just Uganda. Every war in that region has been perpetrated by Museveni. So to say that he's worried is one of the only things that he's probably constantly doing, unless he's sedated to sleep. They have to inject him quite a bit for him to be able to sleep. Okay, so he's really struggling with that. He wears a mask. The reason why Museveni wears a mask is not because of any COVID symptoms or COVID fear of contracting COVID or cold or anything like that. He sleeps with oxygen, so his nose is plugged all night. And so for many people who, if you work in a healthcare setting like I do, oftentimes if you have oxygen tubing constantly for several days or for a while, you may have, you kind of start having like tracks showing signs of where the tubings go. And so if you sit next to someone, it shows that, you know, this person has these things going on, or he does wear that sometimes. So and sometimes your nose will dry out, you know, some bleeding, chopping. It just looks like it's abnormal. So he does wear the mask to cover what people could see or sense when he's in a close proximity meeting. It's another reason why you see Museveni sits here, and then other people he's meeting with sit maybe, you know, a few feet away, because of his fear of being too close to be noticed for what's going on inside of him. He's also been restricted on a very restricted diet, obviously, for what else is going on. He's very cancerous as a human being. Several infections going on. His hand, as you might have seen, it looks like it's rotting or something. They took out the cancer on that hand. But as you know, cancer, sometimes it travels. So he does have it quite all over his body. And so he's on several strict diets. He's just not a happy man. He's not happy because of his worries. He's not happy because his body is deteriorating. He has been flown to North Korea several times for treatment. He has even requested a prostate transplant, but that's impossible. It's never happened. He has had several kidney transplants. As you know, his son, Rabogo, son-in-law, is a trader of internal organs, which they take illegally from people. None of that has helped him. So he's really, really struggling as a human being. He's been prescribed to stay in a calm environment and try not to be all over the place, trying to fight this, fit the other. That's why most of the times in this government, he had thought that by this term, he would not be seen in the public eye as he had planned. But with everything that has erupted and the presidency not even being recognized yet, he can't do what he had planned to do. He planned to disappear and have his son take over just from underneath everything. Museveni would just go away like the Bachwezi, who they say just disappears. But, you know, we are still here. We are pushing for sanctions. We're pushing for illegitimacy. We're pushing to get him out of that country, all of his family and everyone. He's not the president, he's not elect. So he has several headaches. But we're adding to it to make sure that, you know, hopefully he packs away gently and leaves to go to his city in Tanzania or somewhere else, because he's not able to go anywhere in the Western world so far. And it's getting worse. Okay, there's going to be lots of land grabbing. I understand that that is the main focus this month, this term. With them coming, Museveni is actually tabling a few bills to go to parliament. That's why they're rushing to get Mao as Speaker of Parliament so that he can help them pass some of these bills. I'll get to Anita Among later. There's so much to say about that. But Museveni is going to try to get, with the help of Salim Saleh and muhoozi, they're trying to get families into several land wrangles whereby, you know, family members disagree, but they'll try to find, as they have spies in different villages, they'll try to spy and find who is the person who is leading, you know, like in an estate, for example, when they appoint the manager or the leader in a clan, that clan person is the one they're going to target. If not, they're going to target somebody who has high responsibility of selling land in a family and put them at loggerheads with all the family members by offering them a lot, you know, comforts of life, money, a home, whatever the case may be, several promises to get that person to clear everybody who is in the way of refusing to sell land. They're trying, because land is a key thing for them to take over, to own Uganda as they plan to do. So they're going to work really hard to see that happens for them. So watch out for family disputes, lots of land grabbing. If you see a family member is doing at one person who is trying to sell everything, unfortunately, especially in Acholi, which I've seen myself, land has become something that is the only dependence for anyone to survive. You know, most people sell off land to send a child to school for one term, without worrying about how do they do the rest of the terms. Okay, just survival for now is a basic reason for people to sell land. So Salim Saleh says he has succeeded in Acholi land because the Acholis, we've gone through so much after the camps, after the LRA war. There's not much left to do or sell or gain or trade or invest in, except sell off land to try to live for today. So you're going to see a lot of that in other areas, especially Uganda. There's also going to be that's what they're going to call the silent genocide. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be killed in efforts for them to continue getting this land. You have seen a lot of communication about LC1 elections, LC2, LC3, what do they call the other group of people? There's a word, an acronym for something CD or C. These are the local councils who will be engaged in this activity. Be careful, because some of them are going to be even Rwandese who are going to figure out who these people are, who are the owners of the clans, who are the leaders, who are the ones who are going to be very difficult, you know, so they can deal with them. They'll pass those names on. These LC1s and 2s will pass those names on to the military and people who Museveni has appointed to do this dirty job for him. So be careful. People like Chisacha Mukama in Masaka area, Kalangwa in Kayunga, and etc. So those are the people who are going to be heading such dirty missions to try to get rid of people, to try to get rid of people who are standing in the way of having land sold. Mrs. Bobby Chagulanyi, I shared something a couple of days ago in a meeting where Muhoozi, Museveni, Salim Saleh, Chisacha Mukama, Balam, they decided to try to make attempts to kill Mrs. Barbara Chagulanyi's mother, who lives, I believe, in Ntungamo. I may be mistaken. Anybody who can help. Oh, CDOs. Chiza, I don't know if that is CDOs. There's another acronym for like local representatives, RDCs. RDCs, LCs, RDCs, those are people who are going to be finding out which are the hard heads in the villages or in the communities who they need to do away with or deal with. So they want to get rid of Mrs. Bobby Chagulanyi's mother. Apparently, Biabakama and Balam have already gone to spy on the home where Mrs. Barbara Chagulanyi's mother lives. They've been there with a vehicle from State House and one other national water license plate vehicle. So if anybody had sighting of those vehicles in that area, those people were sent to go and spy on Mrs. Barbara Chagulanyi's mother. The search for His Excellency Chagulanyi Sentamu continues. Last week, Museveni, dam leader, and the armed forces, they've been spying all around Kampala. They're looking for His Excellency. They said any sightings should be reported to security. They've promised a lot of money, like 1 billion to the military and several millions to people who are non-military. If they see him, they should report immediately. So they're monitoring inside communities in the in the ghetto areas. I understand Baby Cool has been awarded that contract to go and distribute tons of money to people so that any sighting reported, that person will be given a lot of money. Okay. There's also people who have been sent specially on this mission. They've been given bicycles. So if you see local people selling fruit baskets or fruits in the villages, those are spies who are working with the Damulira people in Kampala. They're spying in local communities, Nakawa, the ghettos, Kampala, Kamwocha, trying to see if there's any sighting of His Excellency or if anybody he has talked to. These people that you see coming around, they're not just selling fruit. These are contracted people by the Biabakamas to try to get, the Dam leaders to try to get information and try to communicate any sightings of His Excellency Chagulanyi Sentamu. Top securities have regretted the arrest of Dr. Sarah Birete. They blame those who gave them the information about trying to arrest her, to try to contain what could have happened. Now they realize that Dr. Sarah Birete was an asset to the European Union testimony the other day. But Muhoozi and Museveni are furious about the fact that she went to testify, and so they promise to revenge on her family. They want to deal with her, to do away with her parents, if she does have any living parents, or they also want to do her with a child of hers so that she can get the message of what she has done. Muhoozi especially says he wants to deal with her and revenge on her for what she did. They'll also try to blackmail her or character assassinate her using her social media. Remember, they took all her phones and they still are in possession of them. They left also spy equipment in her home. They left probably cameras or voice recorders in her house. So Dr. Sarah Birete, if anybody can get this message to you, there are equipment that was left in your home. It is possible also that they may have stashed ammunition somewhere in your home, buried it in the front yard or the backyard or anywhere inside of your house. Eventually, they'll come to unwrap or unveil during a supposed investigation, and then they'll pin you to those things that they will find. So I've also communicated this to her sister, and I hope that that will get to her somehow. So that is about it for Dr. Sarah Birete. They're still looking for Kyagulanyi everywhere in Uganda, in Kampala. The sighting of him by the spring a few days ago has caused a lot of chaos. They're looking everywhere. They still believe he's in Uganda for sure. They don't believe that he left, because they say that the clothes that he's wearing look like clothes that are not for somebody who's not gone or left the country. He looks like he's still in the ghettos, and because he was born, raised, and is okay with living in the ghettos, they feel like he can thrive for a very long time in the ghetto. And Museveni has said that himself. He has said, you know, this man was born, you kind of remember, if you can assimilate this to the Bible, you know, Moses, despite being raised in the Pharaoh's, you know, in the kingdom or whatever, when he went to the Israelites, he blended in just perfectly well. So they're saying that Bobi Wine could live for a very long time in the ghetto, and Museveni will have a hard time struggling with it. So they know that for sure. They're also worried about trying to catch him before the sanctions begin to rain from the EU. Okay, so they've asked all captains, generals, anyone that locates Bobi Wine gets 1 billion by Sunday, dead or alive. So, excuse me. Every militia, every military official, all captains, general, anyone who can locate Bobi Wine will be given 1 billion Uganda shillings by Sunday, dead or alive. Okay, Museveni continues to meet a lot of NUP members, and he has been meeting several of them. But he now believes that any of those people, including Bobi Wine's family, some of the family members have already met with Museveni. But Museveni and Muhoozi and Salim Saleh, all of them believe that truly His Excellency has not been in touch with those people. Because no matter what they've done, every search they've made has not led them to a phone call or a location of Bobi Wine. So they now believe that these people surely have no connection with His Excellency, or have not been linked up, or have not spoken recently. All of the members of parliament from NUP who have been spoken to by Museveni will attend his swearing-in ceremony. So I guess that's a big reveal for us. We will know who were the people who have been talked about or talked to, and then we'll try to avoid them, because then that means they're on the side of the government. All of the family members who have met with Museveni and have agreed with him also, that's a sign that they are, hold on one moment. Those are also on the side of Museveni, and he has promised them 500 million each of fake notes in case they do meet or cite His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. I'm going to have to be back because I think it's getting fairly dark in here. Hold on one moment. I'll be right back, okay?